All right, listen up. I don't care if you're dating, doing business, or making friends. There are some things a man can say that should make you turn around and walk away immediately. No hesitation, no second chances. Just walk away. Now, let me tell y'all something. When a man says this, it ain't just words. It's a warning. It's him telling you, clear as day, that he ain't got no plans to change, grow, or do better. And if you stick around after hearing this, you're signing up for a lifetime of excuses. Let's break it down. Imagine you tell a man, hey, when you talk to me like that, it hurts my feelings. And instead of him saying, I didn't realize that, I'll do better, he looks you dead in the eye and says, that's just how I am. You know what he's really saying. I don't care how you feel. I'm not interested in making this work. I have no intention of meeting you halfway. See, a real man, a man who values you, will hear you out. He might not always agree. He might not always get it right the first time, but he'll try. That's what love looks like. It's effort, it's compromise, it's growth. But when a man says, that's just how I am, he's throwing his hands up and refusing to do any of that. Now, I know some of y'all are thinking, but Steve, what if that's really just who he is? Who he is? What if he's just not the type to change? Well, let me tell you something. Everybody has room to grow. And if a man is truly stuck in his ways, then that's even more of a reason to walk away. Because that means no matter how much you love him, no matter how much you pour into him, no matter how much you try to make it work, he's going to be the same man 5, 10, 20 years from now. And let me ask you this. Can you live with that? Can you spend years of your life with someone who won't even make the smallest effort to meet you where you are? Can you keep giving and giving while they stand still? Can you keep excusing bad behavior because they refuse to change? Because let me tell you something, if you ignore this red flag, you're setting yourself up for a long, painful road. You're going to be sitting there 5 years from now, drained, frustrated, and wondering why he never changed. But deep down, you'll know the answer because he told you from the start. He told you from the start. So when a man says, that's just how I am, don't argue with him. Don't try to prove why he should be different. Don't waste your time hoping he'll magically wake up one day and realize what he's losing. Now, let me tell you something. When a man looks at you and says, you're too much, he's not giving you feedback. He's giving you an excuse. He's telling you that he doesn't have the capacity to handle all that you are. And instead of stepping up, instead of appreciating your energy, your ambition, your love, he's making you feel like you're the problem. See, women hear this all the time. You're too emotional. You're too independent. You're too ambitious. You're too loud. You're too opinionated. Too much, too much, too much. But let me ask you this. Too much for who? Because the right person, the right man, he won't ever make you feel like you have to shrink yourself just to make him comfortable. Here's the truth. When a man says you're too much, what he really means is, I can't handle a woman who knows what she wants. It means I am intimidated by your presence. And instead of rising to meet you, I'd rather make you feel bad for being who you are. And let me tell you something, that is not your burden to carry. I've seen too many women dim their light for a man who couldn't handle the shine. They make themselves smaller, quieter, more agreeable just to keep the peace. And at first, it might seem like it's working. He's happy because you're not challenging him. He's content because you're not demanding more. But over time, you start feeling like a stranger to yourself. You look in the mirror and don't even recognize the woman looking back at you. And here's the worst part. No matter how much you shrink, no matter how much you compromise, he still won't treat you right. Because the problem was never you being too much. The problem was him never being enough. A real man, a secure man, will look at you in all your fullness and say, I love how passionate you are. I love that you have a voice. I love that you go after what you want. He won't be intimidated by your success. He won't feel threatened by your opinions. He won't make you feel guilty for wanting more out of life. So the next time a man tells you you're too much, don't you dare apologize for it. Don't shrink yourself. Don't quiet your voice. Don't lower your standards. Instead, look at him and say, maybe I'm just too much for you. And then walk away, because the right person will never ask you to be less. I don't believe in marriage commitment. Now listen to me real close. When a man tells you I don't believe in marriage or I'm not the commitment type, believe him. Don't sit there thinking, oh, maybe he just hasn't met the right woman yet. Or maybe if I love him enough, he'll change his mind. No, when a man tells you he doesn't believe in marriage, he is not confused. He is not lost. He knows exactly what he's saying. And if you ignore it, you are setting yourself up for heartache. See, too many women hear this and think, well, maybe he just needs time. So what do? They wait. They invest years into a man who has already told them he doesn't see a future. They give him all the benefits of a committed relationship: loyalty, love, support, even kids, hoping that one day he'll wake up and change his mind. But let me tell you something. If a man tells you up front that he doesn't believe in commitment, that is not an invitation for you to prove him wrong. That is a warning for you to walk away. Here's what happens. You stick around hoping that if you just show him how good you are, he'll change. And for a while, everything seems fine. He enjoys the relationship. He enjoys your company. He enjoys you. But guess what? When the topic of commitment comes up again, he'll say the same thing. I told you from the start, I'm not the marriage type. And now you're hurt. You're heartbroken. But the truth is, he never lied. He told you who he was from the very beginning. You just didn't want to believe him. And let's talk about the men who say, I don't believe in marriage because I've seen too many bad ones. Listen, we've all seen broken relationships. We've all seen marriages that didn't work. But a man who truly values love, a man who truly wants to build something real, will understand that his past does not define his future. If he's using other people's failures as an excuse, he's just looking for a reason to keep you in a relationship without offering you security. Now, let me make this clear. If you also don't want marriage or commitment, then fine. That's your choice. But if you do want something serious, if you do want a man who is willing to build a future with you, then you cannot afford to waste time on someone who has already told you he doesn't want the same thing. Because let me tell you something. There's a man out there who will not hesitate to commit to you, a man who will not make excuses, a man who will not keep you guessing, but you will never meet him if you're busy waiting on someone who already told you he ain't the one. So when a man says, I don't believe in marriage, don't argue with him. Don't try to convince him otherwise. Don't wait around thinking he'll change. Just say, I hear you, and then walk away. Now, let me tell you something. When a man looks at you and says, I don't have time for this, you need to hear exactly what he's saying. He's not just talking about a single argument or a bad day. He's telling you loud and clear that he does not value this relationship enough to put in the effort in forgiveness. And if you let that slide, if you allow him to dismiss you like that, you're setting yourself up for a life where your feelings, your needs, and your voice do not matter. See, relationships take time. They take effort. They take communication. A man who truly cares about you will never be too busy to listen, to understand, to make things work. But when a man says, I don't have time for this, what he's really saying is, I don't have time for you. And that's a deal breaker. Let's break this down. Say you bring up something that's been bothering you. Maybe you're feeling unappreciated. Maybe you just want him to check in more. And instead of listening, instead of reassuring you, he hits you with, I don't have time for this. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you that your concerns are an inconvenience to him, that your feelings don't fit into his schedule, that instead of stepping up and showing you that he cares, he'd rather shut the conversation down completely. And let me tell you, that is not a man who's ready for a real relationship. See, a good man, a man who truly loves you, will always make time. No matter how busy he is, no matter how stressful life gets, he will never be too busy to make sure you feel seen, heard, and valued. Because love is not just about the good times. It's about showing up even when it's inconvenient. It's about choosing to work through things instead of walking away. Now, I know some of y'all are thinking maybe he just had a bad day. Maybe he really was busy. And look, everybody has rough days. But if this is a pattern, if every time you try to talk, every time you need him, he shuts you down with, I don't have time for this, then it's not about a bad day. It's about a man who doesn't respect you enough to listen. And here's the real problem. If you let this slide once, it won't stop. It won't stop. The next time you bring up a concern, he'll do it again. And the time after that. And before you know it, you'll start convincing yourself that your feelings don't matter, That maybe you are asking for too much. That maybe it's your fault for bringing things up in the first place. But let me tell you something. You are not asking for too much. You are asking the wrong man. So the next time a man tells you, I don't have time for this, don't beg for his attention. Don't force him to listen. Don't lower your standards just to keep the peace. Instead, hear him loud and clear, and then walk away. Let me leave you with this. Life is too short to waste on people who don't value you. Too short to keep explaining your worth to someone who refuses to see it. Too short to keep hoping that a man will change when he has already told you exactly who he is. See, the biggest mistake people make in relationships is ignoring the truth when it's right in front of them. They hear the words, they see the actions, but instead of walking away, they hold on. They convince themselves that if they just love harder, if they just stay a little longer, things will turn around. But let me tell you something. Love does not fix a man who does not want to be fixed. Commitment does not change a man who has no interest in changing. And time only reveals what was always there. If a man tells you, that's just how I am, he's telling you that he has no plans to grow, no desire to evolve, no interest in meeting you halfway. And if you stay, you will spend years trying to change someone who was never willing to change in the first place. If a man says, you're too much, he's telling you that he cannot handle the full version of you. That he would rather you shrink, quiet down, and make yourself smaller just to make him comfortable. But you were not put on this earth to be less just so a man can feel like more. If a man says, I don't believe in marriage or commitment, he is telling you that he has no intention of building a future with you. And if you ignore it thinking you can change his mind, you are setting yourself up for heartbreak. Because the truth is, the right man will not need convincing. The right man will know what he wants. And if that's not you, you need to walk away and find someone who does. And if a man says, I don't have time for this, what he really means is, if a man refuses to listen, to work through problems, to show up when it matters, then he is showing you exactly how much or how little you mean to him. The bottom line is this. When people tell you who they are, believe them the first time. Don't make excuses. Don't try to change them. Don't waste years of your life waiting for something that was never meant for you. Because the right man won't say these things. The right man won't make you feel like you're asking for too much. He won't make you beg for time, attention, or commitment. He won't give you excuses. He will give you effort. So stop settling for less than you deserve. Stop holding on to people who have already let go of you in their hearts. And most importantly, when you see the signs, when you hear the words, when you know in your gut that this isn't right, don't wait. Oh, don't wait. Don't argue. Just walk away.